In this video, I'm going to share with you the paperback principle and also why you need to learn this principle to provide you with the shortest path to wealth. Hey, Frank Thomas here from Wealth Generation Strategies, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my most favorite topics, and that is the paperback principle. If you do a little bit of digging, this is not a really well-known principle. Maybe it is, but it's definitely not called this. I like to call it this because of what it's based upon. But trust me when I say it works extremely well. There are thousands of people around the world very quietly making a fortune using this principle and have been for a very, very long time. But there's pitfalls you need to avoid. Make sure you watch the entire video so you don't fall into any of them. So I like to call this the paperback principle because it provides a very visual and recent reference to the creation of paperback books. For a very long time, books were published mainly as hardcover books. But in the 20th century, roughly around the 1930s, the style of paperback bookbinding was created. And there's a number of reasons for that. It was cheap, it was light, it was inexpensive in comparison to its hardcover cousins. And even today, if you go to a bookstore, it's the same thing. And most importantly, if you could get published, you could make a fortune. In the 20th and 21st century have done just that. Beyond all these advantages, the biggest by far, and what makes this so powerful, is the price you pay for the book is far outweighed by the value the book contains in its cover. So for pennies, you're getting back dollars in value. The trick then is to make this a no-brainer for others to purchase the book and therefore sell a lot of books. And this is how we make our money. We don't just try to make our money on one person. We're trying to sell to a lot of people. And when I launched one of my most successful software products in the past, I sold thousands and thousands of licenses, and I made a lot of money selling all those licenses. So trust me when I say this works. And after thinking about it, some of the most successful industries, if you follow the principles that I'm going to be outlining shortly, also follow the paperback principle. A good example is the music industry. For many years, musicians did the hard work up front and then sold thousands of records and made millions from them. This concept has migrated to the internet era as well. One example that comes to mind is Udemy.com. It's a cheap online training site that sells courses for less than a dinner for one, but successful Udemy instructors have been known to make millions of dollars. Not everybody, but again, you follow the points I'm going to be outlining, you can be one of them. So there's lots of ways you can take these principles and become very profitable from them. So I think the big question on everybody's mind is, how do you take advantage of the paperback principle without making a ton of mistakes? I'm going to be covering 4 or 5 points in this video to give you the highest chances of success that I've seen over and over and over in different industries over different periods of time that just don't change. So let's start it with the very first one. And that is, start with a good idea. Look into your areas of interest and knowledge and find pain points in them. You could be an architect and you discover that your pencils are always breaking, so you develop a new kind of pencil. Or I know my wife's an avid quilter. Favorite tools is something called the rotary cutter. Did you know that was invented by a quilter who was trying to fix a pain point because they didn't exist and they had to use scissors? Needless to say, this lady is a multi-millionaire. But also don't overthink the idea either. Simple always sells the best. Nothing simpler than a book, record, or training course. The real trick is to use the skills you already have to your advantage, and this is going to be your biggest advantage. Don't try to sell jewels if you're a plumber. Figure out something within the plumbing trade that you would think, hey, this would be a really good idea. There might be a winner chicken dinner product right there. Number 2, make sure your idea is sellable and will sell enough copies. Now, this is a two-parter. So first, make sure you have something people will want to buy. You don't need everyone on the planet to be your customer, but secondarily, you want to make sure that you can sell enough copies to make your initial efforts worthwhile. A simple equation I like to use is consider the profit of each sale. Let's say you make only $2 on every time you sell a product. How many copies of that product are you going to need to sell to make it worthwhile to you? For me, I like to clear at least 10 grand on a product, especially if I'm working on it for about a month. So I would need to make sure that that product has a lifetime of sales of at least 5,000 sales. This is also the first pitfall. It's easy to make something you think is cool, but it's not sellable. Be sure your idea can sell. And I'm going to be touching on this on the very last point just a little deeper, so stay tuned. But before getting to point number 3, if you're enjoying this video, do me a favor and give it a like. And if you want to follow this guy on this journey, because I'm doing this right now, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more coming. Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss a single episode going forward. Thanks very much. Point number 3, realize that this is an effort first, profit later business model. And fortunately or unfortunately, this is one of the most profitable business models. Lots of effort up front and you get paid later. It's also easy to start feeling like you're not going to make this work, but there's dozens of stories that you can search the internet. People run a marathon of 10 miles to stop 10 feet from the finish line because they can't see that finish line. And that's the real sad thing about it. Stick to it and just keep trying. One of the points, again, I'm going to be covering will help cover a pitfall if you ran into a product that doesn't sell well. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you have a plan from start to finish. And this is at the 10,000 foot level. Don't worry about the nitty-gritties up front. You will iron them out as you progress. And also learn to hold yourself accountable. Treat this like a job. And this is how you get through this process. Learn to trust this process until you start to profit. It gets easier when you start seeing the money rolling up. Point number 4. Not all ideas are as profitable as others. And this is something you need to come to realize, that not all of your ideas you bring to market as a product are going to make a lot of money. Some will be duds and others will be, like I said earlier, winner chicken dinner. It's just crazy. But this is the name of the game. Be prepared to diversify and create multiple products from multiple ideas in the long run. Let's go back to the musicians. Anyone can tell you that a one-hit wonder didn't make crazy amounts of money, and there's a lot of them. It's the musicians who keep working hard creating new music that make the really big bucks. I know this might be lore. I don't know if it's true, but I remember hearing one time Paul McCartney and John Lennon were sitting in one of their mansions, and they're like, they really want to put a pool in. Paul McCartney's like, I want to put a pool in. What should we do? And John Lennon turned around and said, hey, we just write another song. That's our pool. And that'll be your pool too. So always keep in mind, it's multiple products that do well in the long run. I've actually got 6 sitting on the burner right now that are conceptual ideas that I'm working on, but I'm only working on the first one and getting that one over the line before I start digging into the second one, third one, etc. So that's what you need to do as well. And the cool thing about all this is our brains, when it's always the first time, it's always the hardest and takes the longest. But as we do it over and over again, you will get easier and it'll get faster, and you'll be able to create more products quicker, faster, better, stronger. Point number 5, never stop learning. Always be a ready student in this process. Some of the greatest creators made quite a few flops before success, but it came through learning more and more. And listen to your customers. They'll guide you way better than you could ever believe. Always continue learning new ways you can diversify your current products as well. Do you have a book? Well, consider turning it into an audiobook. It's a new product, and that will sell as well. You'll get people who will buy the paper copy of the book and the audiobook. Guilty. I've done it many times. And that author has made profit twice on me. Point number 6, avoid empty markets and saturated markets. Now, this is the point I was talking about earlier, making sure you've actually got a customer base to work with. An empty market is when you've created something brand new to the world. In other words, nothing like you have actually exists. I will tell you, I've actually done this a couple times. And this is the hardest thing to sell. You might think, oh, this is a new way, it's innovative, and it's great, and people are going to love it. But first, you have to convince your prospective customer that your way is better. This is also the most profitable, but it's also the hardest to profit in because you got to convince that customer that your way is better first. The saturated market is the exact opposite. My wife has been telling me for years to write my own bookkeeping application. Personally, I think the idea is crazy because it has a huge amount of work to be done. And also there's heaps of bookkeeping applications already out there. Unless I can slice out my unique advantage in the marketplace, it is truly a foolish idea. I mentioned this separately from the second point. Make sure that your idea is sellable and will sell enough copies, because this is a fringe case, but it's an error we can fall into. You can literally waste years and thousands of dollars trying to make something sell, and it won't. And this is a huge pitfall. Again, this is why we'll be focusing on multiple products in the long run. This is the paperback principle. Take a few minutes and start looking around and see if you see it anywhere else, and start mirroring or copying those principles that you see, and make sure you follow what I've taught you in this video, because it is the essence of the paperback principle. It's a business idea that has been around for many, many years and will continue to be super profitable to anyone who follows all the points in this video. But let's say you're starting to become profitable with the paperback principle. What's next? I'm glad you asked. What do you do with the profits that are coming in to turn your millions into many millions or billions? The answer is a short one, and that's learning how to invest those dollars properly. On the screen is a video that goes over the 3 important questions you need to know and answer if you want to turn your wealth into a truly huge fortune. So be sure to check it out. Otherwise, Frank Thomas here. Start looking into the paperback principle and seeing how it can turn you into a millionaire. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.